تسوى فوق ما تتسوى. فجأة بس خلال ساعتين وقت لي اجت علامة السوداء، خطف الأطفال والنساء، قتل الرجال، جاب كلها وياه. تتوقعي وقت اللي كانوا يضربوني الدموع كانوا ينزلوا من عيوني من الوجع، ولكن كنت أضحك، يعني ابتسامتي انتقمت منهم.
17 Yazidis are living on this corridor in the middle of a psychiatric hospital in Germany. It's a long way from their home in northern Iraq, but at least they're safe here. 3 years ago, on the 3rd of August 2014, they were attacked by IS fighters. Many of their men were shot, the women and children were captured. Ikhlas was 14 at the time. She and her family tried to escape up the mountain, Mount Sinjar, but they couldn't run fast enough.
وبعدها قتلوا بابا أمام عيوني. شفت دمه بإيدهم.
She was then kidnapped, torn apart from her mother and locked in a prison.
كلها تجي صوت الصياحات، بنات أطفال كلهم كانوا يبكون من الجوع وما كان أكو أكل حتى ناكل وما كانوا ينطونا.
She told me she saw things which will always haunt her, things which I found very difficult to listen to.
بوقتها أنا بعيني شفت واحد عمره أكبر من 40 سنة إجي أخذ واحدة عمرها 10 سنوات. لو بس تسمع صوتها، تسمع صرخاتها، هي تقول يا أمي ساعدني، يا أمي بالكردي كانت تقول دادا دادا، ماما ماما، ونحن ما كنا نقدر نسوي شيء.
We're not allowed to show you where the girls are living. It's for their own safety. Many of their families are still in captivity, but not far from here. Those 17 Yazidis are integrating into German society. Many are even going to school here as they start the journey to rebuild their lives.
So we focus on certain emotions like love, peace, and joy to forget fear, anxiety, and other negative emotions.
And here to help them, a team of mentors from across the world.
My joy is complete.
Ikhlas's nephew, Amin, was only 7 when IS fighters took his father and mother. He hasn't seen his parents for 3 years. But in the last month, his mother has been spotted in a camp in Iraq after escaping. During today's meditation, he imagines that all his people are released, and he sees himself reunited, celebrating with his mother. It's thought his father was killed by IS fighters, the same fighters who kidnapped Ikhlas and kept her a sex slave for 6 months.
وبعد ما سووا القرعة هو سحب اسمي. وقت لي اجا شفت هيك واحد مخوف بشع، تقرف منه، يعني حتى أخاف أشوفه، لحيته هالقد، شعره هالقد، من هنا يعني منكوش، يعني شكل وحشي، يعني فوق، يعني الريحة يعني تقرف من ريحته. 6 شهور بقيت هنيكا، كل يوم إهانة واغتصاب والدرب، كل يوم. حاولت أكثر من مرة أن أنتحر، ولكن كل مرة كنت أفشل. انت هسه ممكن تطاوعين عليا وتقولين لحالك يا ترى هاي بدها تحكي قصتها، عليش ما تبكي؟ ترى أني دموعي خلصوا، صدق دموعي خلصوا.
So I'm telling them I want them to write down their dreams and their goals.
After all these girls have been through, it will take years of specialist counselling. Today's art therapy session is just a start.
Okay, لازم بس تكتبي.
We can't show you this 13-year-old girl. It's for her own protection. She doesn't know if her parents are still alive. She too was captured by IS and now only communicates by drawing and signing. So Jacqueline, tell me the difference you've seen with the girls over the last few years.
Incredible. It's been incredible going from tears, sadness, no eye contact, and now seeing.
Leading this team is Jacqueline Isaac, an American lawyer who spends much of her time advocating for women across the Middle East. She was working in Iraq taking aid to those Yazidis who escaped from IS by fleeing to Mount Sinjar, a mountain close to their villages where many were left stranded for months.
I met a mother, and she was telling me about how her daughter was in captivity. She didn't know what happened to her, and she was saying, "Can't you help? You're a lawyer, can't you help? Make your government go out there and get our girls. Make your government do something." I didn't know what to do.
Just days later, in one of the villages below the mountain, Ikhlas managed to escape while her abuser was out fighting. She was taken to a refugee camp. A few days later, she met Jacqueline.
أنا بوعدكم إن أنتوا هتقدروا تستخدموا المواقف دي عشان تساعدوا غيركم.
This footage was filmed just days after Ikhlas's escape.
يعني هي بتقول أنا هساعد إخواتي.
When I first met her, her head was down. All of their heads were down. There was no eye contact in the beginning. It was a porch. We were all sitting. And I remember thinking, what do I say to them? There were counselors that we had brought that were sitting on the right-hand side on standby to give girls counseling. And I remember thinking, this is not the time for counseling yet. This is the time to just recognize them as human beings.
The song she is looking for is a song talking about what happened to her family and her people.
3 months later, Ikhlas moved again. She's just one of thousands of Yazidis resettled by the German government. They go to mainstream school with the rest of the town every day. But their education doesn't solely take place in German classrooms.
Good job. Good job.
Sam, I am.
Back where they live in the hospital, as well as music therapy, they're also being taught English by Jacqueline's team.
That's Sam, I am. That's Sam, I am. Okay, I like.
Despite living 6,000 miles apart, Jacqueline is dedicated to these girls, visiting them every few months.
Butterflies.
But even when she isn't with them, she talks to them online every week, and to other girls still in Iraq.
When you look at all the recruits, ISIS recruits that are coming from all over the world, how did they get into Iraq and Syria? It all started with the internet. They were being recruited online. So what if we can reverse what was used as negative? What if we can use the same tool to transform the lives of this next generation in Iraq and Syria? Then we opened up a center in Iraq where over 40 girls are now learning English through Skype, through the internet, by teachers who have volunteered their time. Every day, the story was, this is what's happened to me, this is what's happened to my people, we just want them to return. That was it. Their life was just that story. But now they're overcoming their story of the past and creating a story to define their own future.
Ikhlas now knows her voice matters. Just last year, she addressed our parliament. The result of her story, the House of Commons unanimously declared Yazidi victims of an ISIS genocide. She now wants to become a lawyer here in Germany.
Would you like to go back to Iraq to live there?
إيه ولكن بشرط ممكن اللي باعني للدواعش هو اللي يغتصبني باكر أو بعد سنتين بعد 3 سنوات. ممكن يغتصبوا بناتي إذا ما اغتصبوني. بصراحة ما أرجع لأن خايفة.
These girls are now starting to live again, but they're living with deep, deep scars.
مو كل وحدة عندها هاي الجرأة، لازم تعرفون ترى وقت اللي أحكي قصتي مو بسهولة، لا تشوفون شكلي وتقولون هاي كأنها حجر، ترى أني من جوا انجرح وأموت 1000 مرة.